From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Now at noon, 3 shootings, 3 people dead within a matter of hours. What police are saying about the gunfire that happened between last night and early this morning. For the first time, a president is on trial for impeachment for a second time. We'll preview the arguments that are being scheduled to begin in the nation's capital less than an hour from now. But first, I want to welcome you here to the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey with Todd Clausen standing by from his home. And Todd, what you can see on the other monitor here on their screen is from our photographer, Dave Franklin. He's down in the Columbus area today where they got a lot more snow than we got right here in downtown Indianapolis. What can you tell us about the weather today and what we can expect for this afternoon?
Yeah, you know, Lauren, that heavy band of snow set up in Columbus over towards Greensburg and then into the Bloomington area, Spencer as well, where we had about 4 to 6 inches of snow that fell. And then there was a sharp decline as you worked your way to the north. Greensburg came in at 6 inches with that snowfall yesterday. Bloomington 5 inches, Franklin and Johnson County 4 inches, Rushville just shy of 3. And then you got to downtown Indy and only about a half an inch of snow fell. And same for Fishers as you worked your way a little further to the north. So it was definitely more of a southern track as expected. Numbers were a little higher than I originally thought yesterday. Got a little enhancement from the jet stream. Here's what's left, though. There are some flurries and some light snow showers out there that are so light that the radar can't pick them up. But the accumulating snow has come to an end for now because there is more in the forecast going forward. Not today, but tomorrow. 18 right now in Peru, 20 in Indy. It's another very, very cold day. You need to bundle up. This afternoon, temperatures don't really do much more, only getting up into the mid-20s here for afternoon highs. Wind chills will remain in the teens. But again, no additional snow outside of a few very light snow showers and or flurries. We'll talk more about the storm system for tomorrow and then the bitter cold air for the weekend coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Well, this Indy Snow Force is still working to make sure that all the roads are clear for the rest of the workday. Indy Snow Force remains activated here around Indianapolis as crews continue to plow the city streets. You can track where the city trucks are at in real time by using the Indy Snow Force viewer that's located on the city's website. As for the interstates and the state highways, INDOT's latest call out of drivers run through at least 4 o'clock this afternoon. Just northwest of Indianapolis, police believe alcohol was a factor in an overnight crash that sent 4 people to the hospital, including 2 police officers. This is footage from the INDOT traffic camera at the scene of that I-65 crash up in Boone County. 3 Whitestown police officers were conducting a traffic stop around 1 o'clock this morning when another car crashed into their police car, causing multiple secondary crashes. The 2 officers, the driver of the car that crashed, and then a passenger in the car that police had stopped were all taken to local hospitals. Whitestown police say that 1 officer was treated and released while the other expects to go home later today, so that is good news. There was no word yet on the conditions of the others who were in that crash. Well, it was a busy overnight for Metro Police, and officers are now investigating 3 shooting deaths across our city. Those shootings all happening within a span of about 8 hours. The most recent shooting happened just before 5:30 this morning on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Police say that a woman was shot inside of a laundromat near East 38th Street and North Sherman Drive. Police say the woman at the scene of the shooting died. No suspect information has been released on that so far. Almost 5 hours before that shooting, police say that a man was found dead of a gunshot wound on the city's southwest side. Police were called around 1 this morning to a home on Westbrook Avenue near I-70 and the Sam Jones Expressway. When they arrived, they found a man in the back of a home there with what they believe were gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene as well. And last night over on the east side, a woman died after gunfire that was reported near the intersection of Post Road and 30th Street. Police say they found a woman sitting in a passenger side of a vehicle suffering from gunshot wounds around 9 o'clock last night. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not given any information on a possible suspect. Well, just over a month after the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol, a second impeachment trial of former President Trump begins today. It's the first time a president has been impeached twice and a first time a former president has gone on trial in the Senate. But as ABC's Andrew Dimbert tells us, a conviction is highly unlikely.
In the very same chamber that was stormed by a mob of angry pro-Trump supporters, all 100 senators will act as jurors in the unprecedented second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. The House impeachment managers arguing Trump is singularly responsible for the January 6th deadly insurrection, citing his own words from that day.
If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
But Trump's defense team arguing the president's speech is protected under the First Amendment. And in a legal brief, his attorney stating of the over 10,000 words spoken, Mr. Trump used the word fight a little more than a handful of times, saying he didn't mean it literally, arguing those who took part in the violence and breached the Capitol did so of their own accord. But dozens of the Capitol rioters claim they were following Trump's orders.
There's a million of us out there, and we are listening to Trump. You're the boss.
Meanwhile, Trump's defense maintains because he's no longer in office, the trial is unconstitutional. But the House managers cite precedent for office holders being impeached even after they resigned. On this first day of the trial, both sides will be debating the constitutionality of the trial itself.
There is no constitutional obstacle to proceeding this way.
45 Republican senators have already voted they agree with Trump's defense that an impeachment trial for a former president is unconstitutional, suggesting that a conviction is highly unlikely.
Simply put, the snap impeachment raises serious questions about fundamental fairness.
You have such a serious charge, sweeping it under the rug will not bring unity. It will keep the sore open.
But in a blistering Washington Post op-ed, Illinois GOP Representative Adam Kinzinger, who voted in favor of impeachment, now urging his Republican Senate colleagues to take a stand and convict the former president. After today's constitutional arguments from both sides, tomorrow opening arguments begin. Then Trump's defense and impeachment managers will get 16 hours spread across 2 days to plead their case. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Andrew, thank you. We'll have live coverage of the beginning of the impeachment trial of former President Trump. It begins right after the news at noon today on WRTV. New this midday, an executive with Eli Lilly has stepped down after what was described as an inappropriate relationship with an employee. The drug maker says Chief Financial Officer Joshua Smiley is resigning over what Eli Lilly called consensual, though inappropriate, personal communications between himself and other Lilly employees. Eli Lilly's chairman and CEO releasing this following statement. He says, quote, Lilly's core values are integrity, excellence, and respect for people. We expect all employees to live these values, and we expect exemplary conduct from our executives at all times, end quote. Well, the new coronavirus numbers are out from the state health department. They continue to show a downward trend in those new cases. More than 1,200 more Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. The number of people who have died with the virus also continues to climb today. Another 67 COVID-19 related deaths reported today. That pushes the state past 11,500 deaths during this ongoing pandemic. More than 10% of Indiana's population has now gotten at least the first dose of a coronavirus vaccine. The state says more than 240,000 Hoosiers have been fully vaccinated. Well, she helped keep alive the legacy of one of America's best-known singing groups even after its famous lead singer left. Mary Wilson was one of the founding members of the Supremes, who blazed a trail for black and female artists in the 1960s. Even after the departure of Diana Ross, Wilson continued on with the group as well as her own solo career. Just days ago, she had posted a YouTube video about this year being the 60th anniversary of the Supremes signing with Motown Records, Her publicist says that Mary Wilson died suddenly last night at her home in Nevada. She was 76 years old. Well, it's become a trend for more and more black women. Next, our own Troy Washington takes a look at why they're going natural when it comes to their hair and why one stylist is glad that's happening. Todd.
And Lauren, we're getting a little bit of a break currently from the snow across central Indiana, with the exceptions of a few flurries and or brief snow showers out there, but no accumulating snow. The overall weather pattern, though, remains very, very active. More accumulating snow is possible for the day tomorrow. We'll break it down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back. As we celebrate Black History Month, we're looking at the evolution of hair practices in the African American community. Our own Troy Washington is sharing how things are changing as industries start to learn the cultural connection between protective styles and healthy hair.
Little girls are no longer growing up afraid to wear their natural hair. That's because times are changing and leaving room for authenticity. At one point, every little black girl I knew got a relaxer. It was a rite of passage.
Instead of us curling to put body, we're relaxing the hair to make it straight.
Straight hair was once a requirement in many industries, including the military. Women used to be required to wear a neat pullback bun. But as this stylist with more than 3 decades of experience explains, that's a horrible practice for black hair health.
And I have seen in my career hair come straight out of that scalp.
The military recently made changes since it was found that pulling hair back too much can cause traction alopecia.
Alopecia is spots where there's no hair. So you have spots, like if I had a spot in my head where there's no hair there and the hair is not going to grow back. The pulling of the hair back, that tension there, that's not good. I think it's a lot of us, we need to be more educated.
Working for you, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you so much. Well, they were trying to get rid of the snow, but it took a whole lot more. Next, how people who live in Hendricks County are trying to get that damage repaired. And let's take a live look outside this midday. This is our tower camera here in the downtown area looking at a snow-covered Circle City. We'll get a full check of Todd's forecast for the week ahead coming up right here on the News at Noon. Stay with us. Welcome back. We do have some breaking news this midday. The Big Ten Conference has just confirmed what WRTV first reported last week. The conference put out a statement just moments ago saying it will move its men's basketball tournament from Chicago to right here in Indianapolis. The postseason tournament will now be held at Lucas Oil Stadium March 10th through the 14th. We have much more on this edition to March Madness in Indy right now on the WRTV News app. Well, some homeowners out in Hendricks County say that snowplows took out their mailboxes and now they're trying to get money to replace them. WRTV Investigates Kara Kenny working for you this midday, finding out how you can file a claim if this happens to you.
The weekend of January 30th and 31st, central Indiana was hit with snow. County plows did their best to clear the roads. In Hendricks County, some homeowners say those plows toppled their mailboxes, including Logan Keck in Danville.
My mailbox was smashed in. Within a mile, we had over, I'd say at least 15 of them completely over, and a lot more damaged.
It happened to Ashley Lovett's mailbox in Pittsburgh, too.
How in the world was our mailbox hit? You know, we're in a neighborhood, so it was just really disappointing.
WRTV Investigates checked with the Hendricks County engineer who told us they've received 32 mailbox replacement claims since the January 31st snow. Typically, they average 13 mailbox claims per year.
So I am really happy to see that people are making the claim so that maybe there can be a change. But it's also very disappointing that so many people are affected and having to deal with this situation.
We checked with Marion County and they've received 0 mailbox damage claims from snowplows so far this season. Hendricks County engineer John Ayers says mailboxes aren't usually damaged by physical contact from a plow. They are damaged by the snow itself as the plow moves it off the road, even at slower speeds. Ayers says because the snow was heavy and wet, it did more damage than usual. Of course, any damage to property is unfortunate, but each time we plow our 775 miles of road, we pass an estimated 40,000 mailboxes. So this rate of occurrence is really fairly reasonable. Homeowners with a damaged mailbox can file a claim with the county and get $40 to put toward replacing their mailbox.
$40 is an absolute insult, to be honest. It's a joke that that's all they're willing to pay. And even if I can show them the cost of my mailbox, it's disappointing that they won't even take that into consideration.
Seems like a really low number to me. And so my mailbox alone was $65, not talking about the post or the numbers or the install or any of that. It just seemed extremely low.
Mailboxes can cost hundreds of dollars, including labor. The county engineer says they hope to increase that amount soon. Logan Keck says the county needs to look at its staffing and protocols for snowplows, and he plans to speak up at the next commissioners meeting.
Just to make sure that the safety is in place, that should be there, I think. And I'm hoping that I get some of my answers in my meeting.
If this happens to you, make sure you take pictures of the damage right away and save all of your receipts. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
All right, Kara, thank you so much. Let's take a turn right now to our forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by with what we can expect today. Todd, hopefully no more of that wet snow knocking over people's mailboxes this week.
We're not going to have any more accumulating snow today, Lauren, but tomorrow more snow is in the forecast. It's been that light, fluffy snow. We had about 4 to 6 inches of snow south of Indianapolis last night and into the morning hours today. And then there was a real sharp cutoff, only about a ½ inch in downtown Indianapolis. So it really depended where you were as far as the snowfall went. It was kind of feast or famine yesterday, and tomorrow's system kind of setting up the same way. More on that in just a second. The overall weather pattern remains very active as we continue to get not these strong storms, they're usually fairly weak, but coming through every couple days. And more snow is in the forecast, as mentioned, tomorrow, and then maybe even more on Saturday, followed by a reinforcing shot of cold air. If you can believe that, our temperatures are going to get even colder. Here's what's left outside right now on radar, and you can see a few snow showers to the north up near Muncie. There's some very, very light snow out there that almost feels like drizzle, but with temperatures that are in the 20s, it's just a very, very fine snow that is falling. The radar just can't pick it up. It's so light. So don't be shocked if you see snow shower, you see a few flurries here throughout the afternoon hours, but we're not looking at anything as far as additional accumulation. Temperatures still only in the teens and 20s, 20 in Indy, 19 in Crawfordsville, as well as Tipton, 17 in Richmond. Those are the actual temperatures. Here are your real feel temperatures, and you see that they are sitting in the single digits still in some locales. Feels like 10 in Indianapolis. And throughout the remainder of the day, wind chills are going to be in the teens. So definitely you need to bundle up. Now, tomorrow starts off dry with just mostly cloudy skies and temperatures in the teens. Tomorrow's precipitation is going to come in during the afternoon and be a player for the evening commute. So it's the opposite of today. And it's a system very similar to yesterday, where the strongest part of the system is going to be in southern locations. However, tomorrow there's a little more mixing that's going to be taking place as some warmer air comes in. So there could be a brief period of icing in southern locations, but for most of us, it's another snow event. It doesn't look all that impressive on TrueCast, but honestly, yesterday's didn't either, and these storms have had a little more oomph than they've let on. So I'm still going to call for about 2 to 4 inches in northern locations, up to 2 inches in some locations, with a bit of icing that is going to take place. Again, that is tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours tomorrow. Kevin, of course, will have an update on that later on tonight, and I'll have an update tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana. Following that storm system, look at those temperatures for the weekend. Highs right around 16 degrees with low temperatures by the time we get to Monday morning. That could be below zero. Wind chills, some of the models indicating could be as cold as -30 to -40 degrees, Lauren, by the time we get to Monday morning.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So when we come back here, it's time for our pet of the week, and I want you to meet Loka. See if she could be the perfect addition to your family. Maybe you're working from home, looking for something to do. Maybe you want to adopt an animal. We'll be right back after this short break. Well, it's Tuesday, and that means it's time to see if you'd like to take home our pet of the week. Today, I want to introduce you to Loka. Indy Humane says that Loka is a nice girl who's looking for an adopter who can be active with her. She'll benefit from a nice daily walk to keep her happy and healthy. Loka would also love a home where she can be allowed to sit on laps and furniture, and Indy Humane says she would pair well with another easygoing dog. Her adoption fee is $175. You can find more out about Loka and make an appointment to visit her right now. Just go to indyhumane.org. All right, she's a cutie, Todd, so hopefully she gets a nice home, a nice warm home this week as we have some cold temperatures in the forecast.
Yeah, very cold temperatures. In fact, it's going to get colder before it gets warmer, unfortunately, Lauren. We're in the 20s the next few days, and then the teens by the time we get to the weekend, with lows going into the single digits and even below zero. More snow on the way before that cold air gets in here, though. Tomorrow could see another 2 to 4 inches, which would be mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. Little less to the south where some mixing may take place, but we'll fine-tune the forecast over the next 24 hours.
All right, Todd, thanks so much, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Have a great day.